Alright, y'all, what it do? It's Achilles 2017, or your boy Frank. We back. I just gotta get some stuff off my mind, off my plate. It's about jobs and work, man. And I applied for this job. I hope I hear something back. If I don't hear something back, it is what it is. I'm not tripping. Per se, I know a lot of people probably like to know what I'm talking about, poverty pimps. I'm thinking about these jobs, like, you're not gonna get rich off of just jobs. I know someone talking about you eat beans and rice. You don't eat beans and rice, for one. You don't go and do real estate. You don't do any of that. You don't go investment banking. You don't do any of that. You don't go and choose art and be choosing art. You don't do that. There will find you in a sense, but in a sense, one thing about jobs is how certain things go in their job is, you are forced to kind of be in a tough spot. Like, you're working a $14 or $15 an hour job, right? And, let's say someone has a slight injury or whatnot. And, again, you are an adult, this, that, and the third, you have a family, you gotta pay bills. There's nothing wrong with, paying bills, but, you gotta have strong moral code or whatnot. You gotta have a code of ethics. Because when you don't have necessarily a code of ethics in a sense, or you're playing games with unethical people, like, let's say someone works at a job. There's some unsafe conditions, like, for instance, not necessarily even temperature, maybe outdated equipment. And for lack of better words, you're doing your job, you're doing your thing, trying to make pretty much $1 out of 15 cents. That's what a lot of these companies are doing by pimping their workers. But I understand to a certain extent they can't pay everybody a certain amount of money, but profits and stuff are going through the roof. Everybody is a customer. Like, you think about it. If for a company to produce something is, like, let's say, for instance, to produce gum. The gum, that little small stuff, is like 35 cents. It didn't cost the company 35 cents to make it. It's probably at a total, I want to probably say it's like 10 cents. But then the price has gone up 15 cents, and that's a lot of money. So the price never changed. It is added on 15 cents, and that's a whole lot of money per unit that they're making. That's not necessarily a problem. I don't have a problem with that. But when you go with other stuff, that will become problematic. Like, if you're talking about, let's say someone's, I want to say a janitor. Let's say someone's in like barber or something like that. They go to a specific place to go get their, their stuff. Like, so they use to wrap people's hair. And they don't have like a wholesale place, and they just go in by convenience to go to some place. Some people try to charge people $10 for one thing, and they're only getting one of those little things that they have to tie people's head up or whatnot. Especially for the women, that's just terrible. And then, too, when you think about business, in a business sense, you gotta think about long term. A lot of stuff's not sustainable. I think probably like when I'm talking about poverty pimps. A poverty pimp is a poverty pimp. A $13 or $15 an hour job in this day and age and climate, you know, I'm not crapping on it. You know, people say they need a working class, but, you know, the world revolves around money. And when you have, you know, all this stuff going on, growing costs, when you have growing costs for like business, or really rent for people, like if you're working a job and you're only making like $13 an hour, and you're working 8 hours a day, technically, what is that? 30 times 8 is $104. That's not that much money. You gotta eat. You gotta do a lot of stuff. Rent, gas, all this type of stuff. And then the price of gas is going up, and then the average person is paying that. They're footing that. Now, I know people talk about, you know, Joe Biden, this, that, and the third. Am I a fan of Joe Biden? The answer, really, I'm not really a big fan of politics. As is, because it's just a lot of stuff's just bad. I'm not necessarily a political person like that. That's your dumbass. So I hate playing the game at a certain point because stuff like that is a little bit too much commonplace. I know someone will probably say $100,000 in New York City is like $37,000, which is true because of high cost of living, and then people can't afford a good place to live at. Now, number one, New York City, I will never, you know, take a train. For one, there's just too much going on, and you have to worry about certain stuff, and it's not a good thing. Two, just like, you know, if you're a business professional, just that and third, I don't even, like, public transport, I don't believe in public transport. Not necessarily the most talkative person. I'm not an avid conversationalist with people. That's just my thing. Never have been that type of person. Small talk, not really as much. It's not against people, just that and the third, but I know people probably like, why does certain stuff cost a lot of money? Like a car. Think about, you know, everybody's a consumer. You have to choose whether or not something is really worth it. Like the stuff that Dave Ramsey says is rudimentary to the average person. Like, not necessarily the average person, you already know. $500. Saving $500 a month is not easy at all. Practical, but doesn't account for life happening. So by someone giving you a course to get debt free, you're paying for a course for information that's already free. You should already know. The word of advice, that I have a whole financial breakdown of, you know, how I want to live my life in a sense. You know, I'll put away money. You know, you need to have a retirement account. You need to have an investment account. Like the more money you earn, you know, if you put it, after taxes, you put a good amount, like let's say $400. You make a lot of money a week. You put $400 in a like an investment account. You put a good portion of your money. Now let's say someone makes, let's say $8,000 a week. Let's say someone makes $8,000 just safekeeping purposes, $8,000 a week. But let's say $5,000. What they need to do after taxes or whatnot and their living expenses, hopefully they have a game plan. This, that, and the third. Maybe they're renting or something like that. Let's say rent is around, let's say $2,000 or let's say $1,500 max. The $3,500 they got left. Get groceries, that's $300. Insurance, hopefully they work for somebody or they got their own insurance. Out of pocket, life insurance, all this type of stuff. Car payment, probably $500. They have like, at least $2,000. I would say go and put $300 in an investment. Definitely take care of your food, cook at home. Don't eat rice and beans for one. Buy in bulk. If you like to live frugal or whatnot, get yourself a rotisserie chicken. Eat healthy. Don't neglect your body for the price tag of food. How cheap it is, how convenient something is, because that's just terrible to be paying for that. In terms of food and certain stuff like that, food shouldn't be 100% like, you just going and doing this, that, and the third. Like, I think a lot of places, like I went to Chick-fil-A the other day, that was trash. You're paying $11. Someone probably be like, why go into Chick-fil-A? The service is not good. It's not. The profits that went up getting the same crappy old chicken sandwich and people not frying the stuff right. And it's fried food. Now, what it's worth, you should be able to eat at least fried every now and again. 100%. I'm not 100% against fried food like that. But if the food is not good and... Wow. Like I said, the food is not good and, you're paying money for probably I'd say a subpar product, subpar service, and then, it's gone up like, $3 or $4. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And then let's say you work at a job, you get an hour lunch break. Because by law, I think you get like an hour. Where you basically are centrally located at, and, the influence of coworkers, this, that, and the third, a lot of stuff can rub off on people. Like, for instance, I feel like groupthink and then behavior or certain stuff like that. People like, where are you going to for lunch? You pack your lunch. People might laugh, but, you're saving money. Everybody should be entitled to eat out at least every now and again. But as far as the, $15 or $25 lunches, that's just not cool. And everybody's a customer. At the end of the day, you gotta choose whether or not, you're gonna spend, that $25 or that $15. The choice is yours. But, if you have a budget and a goal that you're trying to stick to, you just can't do it. You literally just can't do it. And then, too, I think with a lot of these jobs, too, they put people in compromisable positions. Like, in terms of, I understand, like, you don't work, you don't get paid. I'm okay with that. But, like, if you're spending a lot of time at a job and, I think people should work and do what's best to them. Like, obviously every job, people, watch this advice this guy had. He said, don't be a consumer and just plan to live frugal, which I agree. You should live frugal, but you also should experience life in a sense. Like, you don't make bold purchases, expensive purchases, and, you can't justify it. And what I mean by that is like, you don't buy that, $75,000 car and get a car payment. Yeah, you don't get that $75,000 car, and with the car payment and everything, you can probably make the minimum, probably like $600. It's still not a good thing. And then insurance. If you have a lot of money saved up, I still wouldn't do that. It's not economically viable. And I know somebody said that, you could put that as a business expense or, formulate. To be honest, with taxes and the way certain stuff happens, you're not going to be able to write off everything. Like I saw this guy say on a popular show that he can count stuff as a business expense. That's a great way to get yourself in some tax issues or no problem with the IRS. You can't do that. Especially if stuff is not legitimate in terms of a business expense. Like if I went out here and bought a Lamborghini, how I really died. Like if I went out here and bought a Lamborghini, I'm saying this is a business expense and I don't have my car wrapped. I'm going around, I can count it as a depreciation expense. That's not necessarily a depreciation expense, that's just a purchase. Unless you're in a car, like a dog rental car business and you're not going to be able to entertain somebody with a Lamborghini coupe, like a SVJ Roadster. You're not going to be able to entertain people with that. So that's not an entertainment car. And number two, the type of business a person was in, it was not, you're not going to be able to go in a meeting in a Lamborghini all the time. That's not a business car. A Rolls Royce is probably a business car, but then again, that's depreciation. Doesn't make sense. Why would you spend $475,000 on a car while Cullinan or whatnot? And, for lack of better words, it's a nice car. Don't get me wrong, but, you spend that type of money, where are you going to be able to drive that? Where are you going to be able to park that at? And the way cities are now, and the way these decks are, I don't want to park that anywhere. You get wrong looks, people treating you different, people looking at you from your head to your toe, what you're wearing, this, that, and the third. Nah. You got to worry about getting robbed. Got to worry about getting robbed or something like that. I just think about a lot of stuff on a day-to-day basis in terms of just like, with jobs and especially like real estate. Real estate is a scam. Really, to me, honestly, it's kind of a scam. People say it's a safe investment. I would say there's no such thing as a safe investment, even with anything. Like, for instance, someone invested in Meta. Meta started off, with the platform. Facebook started off with the platform. And they lost the most amount of money because they tried to be ahead of the curve. Like Chat GPT. Everybody's trying to beat Chat GPT. I don't have a problem necessarily with, people trying to solve complex solutions. But algorithmically, I think we're relying too much on AI. And the guy who created ChatGPT is a billionaire. He lives in like San Francisco. Number two, if you have that much money, I wouldn't even be outside. I know someone said that's not even healthy, but you live in a place like San Francisco, where are you going to? People say people are, poor. San Francisco is a place that, in a sense, I feel like people can lose themselves. California, people can lose themselves, in a sense. There's so much going on. There's so much drug use. There's so much this, that, and third. People got to accept accountability for though, in terms of like drug use, this, that, and the third. That's for one. Two, in a sense, people have to be able to, I guess, there should be, programs for people to get clean, this, that, and the third, but having somebody go and get a $15 an hour job or something like that, and, they don't have no skills or no college degree or anything like that, I mean, they're pretty much, it's a cycle. Even if someone had a high-paying job, like I saw this lady, I was watching this thing where this lady had made $86,000 a year if she did a construction job. And, life happened. I guess she did drugs, this, that. She was out of rehab and facilities, this, that, and third. She lost her job, but she still had a house. But at a certain point, she couldn't even afford property taxes, and then she got this job working at a diner, and her dad got sick. She was paying for his medical bills and whatnot. And she knows she can't live, in a sense. But she's like in Pennsylvania. She knows she can't live. She made like a lot of money. She made like $400,000, and between that and her drug use, she basically lost pretty much everything. Except, she still had a house. She had this, that, and the third. She tried to get her life back on track. But I think the damage was already done. Then I watched this thing where this man, he was like 60 years old. He was out in San Diego. And he basically couldn't afford to live because he had some type of medical illness or something like that. And he basically was living in his car, and there was a safe port where people had basically designated this land or this strip, this little plot, it's a parking lot. And people, all the homeless people there, they come together. They live out their car, and some of them have jobs, and they're trying to save up money. But between the high cost to live and the fact they work for these companies, and their income is going to miscellaneous things, they're unable to live. Yeah, between the stuff they weren't able to live. Like the guy, I think he has some type of rare form of cancer, and I think he, I think he has some type of health insurance thing was covered. He got laid off or whatnot, and then he tapped into his savings or his life savings too, and it's only a matter of time before he checks up out of here. So, that's pretty bad thing. I think, the major thing, life can happen to any of us or whatnot. And, we just have to be realistic. We have to be real about certain things. You gotta put stuff in perspective. And there's a high cost to live. Money isn't necessarily a thing where, you're gonna have it forever. It's gonna have to be spent, baseline level of expense, how much time you have. Like, if you make, let's say, $3,000 a month or whatnot, that's $36,000, and then minus living expenses. Hopefully you don't have a child or anything like that because you don't be in a bind. And food stamps. I think food stamps at a certain point, people would still be struggling, and then if they make like $40,000, you can't have make $40,000 and have like 3 kids, and no kids cost. So $40,000 and 3 kids, he basically telling me that you're living off of what? That's basically $13,000 a person. And poverty is defined by $20,000 or less. But poverty, that definition is changing in my opinion. You can't afford to live in a place you're being priced out and the influx of money is coming in. you're gonna find yourself homeless or whatnot too. If you don't got no skill set, you don't have a good like support system, you're gonna find yourself in a housing problem. And I feel like that's the biggest problem with like certain things we have it coming out there. That's pretty much happening everywhere. Like, you know, let's say like a tech job. Tech jobs are good, but you know, at the end of the day, they have like massive layoffs. They have massive layoffs. So something like, you know, a carpenter or, you know, a trade school is, you know, possibly good, but everybody, the more people that are on one particular thing, the less of it that I feel like, you know, it's going to be meaningful. Now, the thing about business is people's quotes. Do you actually shop people? Like, you know, if someone's a plumber, you know, there's tiers of plumbers or whatnot, or people or carpenters or whatnot. Some people's prices and stuff is, you know, absolutely horrendous in a sense. It's not good for, you know, your pockets. People have to be paid. I definitely agree with that. This, that, and the third. People have to be paid. Like, you know, also with cars. Don't buy a car if you're not going to afford keep basically the maintenance upkeep of it. But don't buy a car if you know, statistically speaking, it's going to be a lemon. Like a car, people say, you know, these cars run forever. I don't think cars are meant to run forever. I really don't. In terms of like business and expense, I know people have lights on, they have to, you know, pay people, you know, 401k. Hopefully people have a decent enough job. I'm gonna leave this one. Kind of like the landing spot. But, you know, a 401k and all these, like, you know, plans, that's good, you know. But I feel like people should have their own stuff at the same time. Not putting your future or planning, at least when you make money, and put money aside, is good. And in the age of the influencer, I think I have a problem with influencing. All money ain't good money, like in a sense. That's especially true. Like, these games, I know people are talking about Raid Shadow Legends. I don't like Raid Shadow Legends. I'm not about to hide that. I'm not about to be, you know, coming after them or nothing like that. But in terms of people talking about the check is just too good, you know, anything that's promoting online gambling and then kids and then parents, the access to the smartphone and then microtransactions, that is terrible. When you have a terrible game, a terrible design, and then it's basically by microtransactions and power-ups and all this type of stuff, that's problematic. And it stuff gets more addictive. Like, you know, games and stuff are patenting stuff like right now software to basically get people to spend as much money as possible without regard to pockets. And it's like, you know, it's psychology in a sense. It's crazy to think about that. It's psychology. But the number of times that people press something and then a button or just even a pop-up is going to get people to spend money. I heard about this guy who spent, it was like an engineer, it was in a company, he made pretty good money, but he spent like $70,000 to $80,000 on a Transformer game. You can't tell people how to spend their money, but $70,000 to $80,000 on a terrible Transformer game, nah, especially on a mobile phone, nah. I don't even say spend that on, you know, luxury. I'll send out on a vacation or something like that. I gotta go somewhere. But on a video game, nah. Can't do it. And I think, you know, the most part, like with businesses or just companies, spending 20 years at a place, as long as it's good and meaningful work or whatnot, you're getting paid, you're getting treated right, this, that, and the third. It has to be a win-win for both people, for both parties. That's what I think about, especially, you know, when you're talking about work. It has to be a win-win for both parties. You put in the work, And sometimes your efforts and stuff are not really received well. Like, you have to, in a sense, be real about that. But then, don't be passive aggressive about it. Making sure, you take time to process things and get through things and then work through a lot. That's key. And then also, too, in terms of business and how you think about it, a lot of things cannot be 100% the same. Like, if you're given a job or a task or something like that, and it's proportionate to basically a specific thing, like let's say a company does a new campaign and they have meetings. Meetings are part of, like, most businesses or most organizations, but I feel like a lot of people talk about the same things. There's almost no point. It's kind of counterproductive to have a meeting at XYZ and deal with the same things, the same issues at hand, come with solutions, but everything's a drawing board, but nothing's really getting done. You're just talking about it. And we're talking about business, too, in an organization. Well, an organization cannot keep functioning how it is. Like, for instance, Blockbuster could have bought Netflix, and they didn't. And for what it's worth, Blockbuster should have never even had the ability to buy They should never have the ability to basically do what they did as a business model, renting movies, but now Netflix and stuff is worse. Netflix is passing the price $17 to $18 for some crappy stuff, and it's gone up from $8. What have they done? That's a 50% increase. So basically, I feel like people should have entertainment, but if you work in a $15 an hour job, that stuff adds up. That adds up quick. Now, in terms of business, too, in my honest opinion, Netflix, their offerings have become pretty slim. You're going to wait a long time for anything to come out worth watching. Just gotta try to do that bullshit. In terms of business too, let's face it. Things operate one or two ways. I say realize expected gains and then net losses. And not every gain that people try to save for business is going to be a gain. Like, if I can go and say my profit and loss at a given year is like, net sales, someone has a company, let's say they make around $400,000 low end. They have about like 3 locations, they make 1.2. Not every store is going to necessarily get by around $400,000. Not bad. Not every store is going to get $400,000. Because let's say, for instance, a main component of a store breaks down. Let's say a POS system. A whole system or setup where it's basically affecting the business. from point A to point B, like sales. And let's say, you know, you do QuickBooks, you do all this type of stuff, and, you know, something goes wrong with the business. You better understand about like QuickBooks and the business. Like if someone has a business where they have like a locker or something like that, or a safe, or there's something that can affect their business real quick. Like food is the easiest thing. For something to go wrong, your profitability goes down. And let's say someone gets eggs, right? Let's say eggs, like a carton of eggs, goes up to like $12, and the person goes and get eggs from a farmer's market or their local organic thing. People like their business. People like the person. Let's say, you know, 12 eggs, basically 12, you know, $14. Let's say $14 at the peak. Let's say someone gets like, you know, 2 scrambled eggs. They're going to have to price that around, I'm going to say, maybe $5. And then you get two slices of bacon, let's say, or three pieces of bacon. Bacon is cheap, in my opinion. That's probably the cheapest thing. And then you say like 2 links of sausage. I'm going to say, in order for them to be profitable, and hash browns, 13. That's probably gonna be like $13. $13 to be profitable, to be honest. $13 to $15 or whatever is allowed, as long as people like the people and the business and the way the food tastes and the atmosphere. It's gonna be around $15. But after you pay your staff, you know, cooking, all this type of stuff, that goes down. But as long as traffic is good, people like the place, the rent and stuff is paid, staff, you have a steady influx of people, you get people in and out, it's good. Like the mom and pop, I don't really know any mom and pop, you know, food places, like your breakfast place. There's a place I go to every now and again. Their breakfast is pretty good. I think they went down to a certain extent. The breakfast is not necessarily as good. And there are far more viable options in terms of, like, you know, for what you can get for money. I definitely feel like there's more viable options in terms of business for what you can get. Like let's say, for instance, you spend around, let's say, $10, or let's say $9.90. Well, I said $9.50 for a breakfast, and then, you know, this other place is $15. Are you going to drive the actual and get the $9.50 or the $15? That's a choice you got to make as a consumer. Same meal, same everything, but you like the environment and then the food, or the basically people being friendly or whatnot. I think you go to a certain place for a combination of things, and you know, you just have to be smart with your dollars. The more money people spend in terms of business, it's good and it can be bad. Like, let's say someone, like I saw this guy, this guy, he had a bar that was, let's say 15, it wasn't 15,000, this guy spent like $180,000 on this bar. his concept was he always wanted a sports bar, his life savings, and then COVID happened. You know, that was probably the most idiotic thing he could have done. I wouldn't say, idiotic in the sense that he basically wasn't thinking wrong time, and then also too, you don't go into business with the thing of hoping to be profitable in a sense. If you know it's not profitable, the restaurant business, thin margins, paper thin margins, and then rent. If you spent money on a liquor license, that's like what, $50 to $70,000 for one. Your food and your menu, and then chefs. Who you gonna have? You have to have a menu. Like if there's a place, burger and brews, you know that's pretty much saturated. You know, I will support a burger place if the food is good, it's consistent. You're not gonna have crappy stuff going on. Bootleg C-Day. But yeah, I'll support a business that's 100%, you know, if it's good. I don't go for the brews, I go for the burger. But here's this place I go to. I never went to them before, but I know they got a good barbecue sauce and they have a good burger. It's like a Guinness burger. The barbecue sauce is made with Guinness. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Like in terms of the actual price, it's not that bad. It's like, you know, $10. So I think that's money well spent in my honest opinion with fries, and then the drink price is not that much. It's like $13. So I will support their business again, and they have like, you know, basic stuff like, you know, beer deals. $3.25 for a beer. I mean, that's kind of expensive when you think about it. When people go get a pack of cold ones from Walmart and then basically go in the fridge and go home and, you know, go home and drink it. It is what it is. But besides the point with the beers and certain stuff like that, I don't think that a lot of restaurants are, you know, adequately. Bars can make a lot of money. A sports bar can make, I want to say, depending on how big the location, how much people like it, they can make it around, like, you know, I say 50 to 60 grand on a good day, like a good jumping sports bar can make 50 to 60 grand easily. With the food or whatnot, and they have like a good steak or something like that, they can make about 50 to 60 grand. I probably say can make like at least minimum 20 grand a night, 20, 30, but I think it's more. It just depends. There's alcohol and drinks are just so overpriced, and it's not a good habit to have. Like a cocktail is going to be around $15. But yeah, I don't think business is necessarily always a good thing. Depending on what it is. I can't tell people how to spend their money for sure. But at the end of the day, dollars and cents do add up. Then another thing too, going to happy hour too is not always a good thing. Like if someone always lives to go to happy hour. Come on. Yes. This guy sucks. I think I'm pretty good even though I'm talking a lot. Well, not necessarily talking a lot. I'm trying to get my point across, I guess. But honestly speaking, even with these games, a lot of these people have business deals. Like everybody's talking about Kick. Kick is not necessarily going to kill Twitch, in my opinion. I'm just as sorry as I can be. Both of them, it has to be a business proposition. Yeah. Thank you, Jammin. Thank you, Jammin. It has to be a business proposition for both parties. So anybody trying to go to that. Me personally, I don't really like professional gaming. That's just not my lane, and it's not something that's interesting. It's not healthy either. Not to be honest. Bro, I hate that this is a storm right now. Lord, please let there be some... How? Oh my God. I placed 5th. I did not have any. I wouldn't say 100% would have won the game, but I got very close. I know somebody said, you should pay your dues in terms, of jobs. I think you should pay your dues, honestly speaking, but then honestly too, I feel like, when you pay your dues, especially with working, there's nothing wrong getting a check, like, an honest check. But I understand that, you can get injured and then your quality of life is gone. Like, gone. Beyond gone. Like, let's say someone works at a factory. I'm not crapping on anybody at a factory or anything like that. You get hurt, your back or something, you fall or something like that. You working, trying to provide for your family, this, that, and the third. You're done. I understand too. I watched this guy. He graduated into something else. He went in for he basically failed his job and had an issue with his back, and he started popping them pills. They gave him some oxys or something like that, or Vicodin. It's pretty much the same thing. That stuff is addictive, and then before you know it, you start graduating to other drugs or whatnot. You lost everything. Disability, this, that, and the third. So much pain, and then he had some other challenges or then whatnot, and then I think he crashed and burned, lost his mind, and he was done. He was done for. So when people are popping them pills, a lot of people be like, what happened to people? Life could happen to anybody. Like, ain't nobody exempt from problems or challenges as long as you processing stuff and, just trying to get through it. The best you know how, and then you talk to people, that you talk to a professional, try to get through things. Just go from there, I guess. That's all you can do. And then, you know, people not taking medicine, this, that, and the third, that's bad. But also, too, you gotta have practice, I guess, good self-care. It's not necessarily, you know, going and out there drinking and drugging. That's not a good thing. So I think about a lot of things in terms of, like, you know, life. Like, you know, someone asked me about streaming. Streaming, I mean, I do it for fun. It's not something that I just do by just chance. Like, I do it to get my point across and then kind of get some stuff off my chest. Because really, honestly speaking, the quality of life for just certain things is just terrible. Like, let's say someone goes to work every day. They have a car, and the car is their main form of transportation or something like that. You know, it's an old beat up car. You know, let's say it's like let's say a 97, what's just a regular kind of beat up car? Let's say a 97 Accord or a 99 Accord or something like that. Beat up, you know, it's good for gas or whatnot. You know, people do that. I'm not laughing at anything or nothing like that. You know, you have to take care of, you know, what you got, and then, you know, it's a form of employment. You lose that car, you got no job. And the thing about these factories and stuff like that, there's a lot of towns that have a lot of factories or whatnot. Everybody works for it. And what happens when that profit center is gone? Everybody worked for it. And it closes down, it shuts down, and it accounts for, like, you know, 60% of a town's employment. A lot of people are going to become homeless, and then probably crime is going to go up. Let's be honest about that. Oh, this guy. How you gonna have a shotgun and don't even use it? We'll come back to him later. But, and me, my honest point, I try to get my point across. There's nothing, you know, bad not coming for people, this, that, and the third. I was getting the point across with these jobs. Like, if today, you know, something bad happened to, like, you know, people out of job, how is this person affected? How is the person's family affected in terms of, like, you know, a particular situation, like someone gets hurt or they have a traumatic brain injury? They never coming back from that. They ain't never coming back from that. I'm 100% certain that there's pretty much no chance of coming back. People can do therapies, people can, you know, do all this stuff, but one, the brain is delicate, 100%. Your brain is not meant to be sloshed around or hit, you know, at a certain point. Even if you're wearing a hard hat at a construction job, you're doing all the protections you can still get hurt. I know, like, it too, like, you know, if someone asks you about, you know, like, cars, in my honest opinion, are not an investment. watches are not even necessarily an investment either, because people get burned on certain stuff too. Like I know someone, like, you know, greed is killer. Greed is killer, just with anything. When you think that something's going to go up and it's speculative and you have no idea of when to sell, or your portfolio is just focused on all this type of stuff, it's bad. Like if someone is talking about this certain stuff, like I remember, like, you know, when COVID started happening, a lot of businesses and people were getting their stuff stolen, like copper, palladium. Like people were stealing people's catalytic converters off their car because it has palladium and all these doggone, what's it called? It'll come to me in a second. Precious metals. There we go. Precious metals. This stuff is expensive, and then, you know, this stuff you actually need. If someone's car is sounding a little bit odd or whatnot, and it's not moving like that, maybe the catalytic converter is stolen. But I would question who would even go out here. If someone's just going to a place, they're not checking, and they're going out here and buying stolen catalytic converters, they need to get in trouble for that too. The thieves need to go to jail, and also the people going out there knowingly, they need to go to jail too, across the board. I think a lot of stuff is just messed up across the board. I think about it this way. You know, I feel like that's kind of crazy too, that someone will go under someone's car and then have a little thing where they're going and they're basically pushing people's tire up and then going under the car. And then, like, they really going up to people's car and doing that multiple times. And it's stealing stuff off people's cars. I remember I watched this video of this guy in Dayton, Ohio. He knocked the dude out. The guy was under his car. He pulled the guy and knocked him out. And I think he didn't get in trouble per se, but it was just bad. It was just bad. And then I saw this video of this man. He had a business, and the guy tried to steal his catalytic converter off his car. And he basically, what did he do? The guy had a knife. He pulled out a knife on the dude, and then he basically broke the guy's arm. I would have broke the guy's arm too, but at the same time, that's just not a situation you want to be in at all. Because what happens to that guy, I don't think he'll come back. He got the point. He'll mess the person's business, but, you know, that's a bad thing to, you know, experience. It's a bad thing to experience. Almost getting stabbed for defending your business, but also too, you know, stuff just out here is just bad. Where does this guy go to? This guy's a coward. Anytime you do something like that, you're just a coward. Guys really camping behind a tree. You couldn't even see him. The game didn't even load that properly. The textures was just that bad. It is what it is. Damn. I'm gonna have to go and pop this shield real quick. if someone wants to ask me what I think about the movies, too, I feel like, you know, anytime that you're spending normalizing $100 for an outing, and, you know, money, I would say money is necessarily tight, but you think about, you know, just the average consumer things, some people used to enjoy for, like, you know, $55 to $65 now costing $100. You can't blame the pandemic and inflation on that. I'm sorry. That's just greed. That's just not cool. $55 to $65 is now costing $100 or more. I got him. I wasn't fast enough with that, in my honest opinion, but I did edits. I don't think I'm 100% bad. I just don't like, yeah, I'm not 100% bad. I just don't like doing all this stuff for building. I mean, I like Fortnite, but Fortnite's come too sweaty. I think I can keep up with the best of them, but still, that's just annoying. It's just annoying. Show slide. Do SMG. Maybe. But I definitely feel like, you know, with all this games and all this type of stuff, the prices of certain stuff have gone up, and you really can't justify it by any means. You really cannot justify it. I understand that all these games, like GTA made, like, you know, I'd probably say GTA probably makes like over maybe $6 billion a year. And that's possibly even more because they keep on releasing content. It costs them like, you know, I'll say 600 million, but they make $6 billion off of it. And it's a good title. I don't play GTA 5 no more. I tried playing it earlier this year. I liked it, but then again, there's no point. The game's been out for like 10 years at this point. It came out when I was a freshman in high school. And that was like 2013. I didn't necessarily play it until, like, you know, once I graduated high school. Cause GTA was stupid. And then before then, honestly speaking, I prefer the old GTAs compared to the new stuff, all the online. Fuck. I'm in a bad spot right now. In terms of like the circle. But I'm just still thinking about, you know, just a day-to-day. Like Fortnite, in my opinion, they have a good business model too. Someone probably like Fortnite fell off. I would say a lot of games competitive has fallen off, but profitability, Fortnite still has a good base in terms of what they have, even though it's probably not ever going to recover to, like, you know, what it once was. Like, I say 4 or 5 years ago, they still have a good amount of people who play it like me. I play Fortnite because I can get in the game and be done within 20 minutes. And if there's something I can pick up and just keep it going. But still, I think a lot of stuff, man, in terms of, like, you know, just the day-to-day thing, just want to go from bad to worse. another thing I was still thinking about too is these concerts. Like a lot of people are gone. The resale business of anything is not necessarily good, in my opinion. Like my uncle was talking about how some shoes, you know, who's going to pay $5,000 for some shoes? I says it's not really about what you won't pay. The fact is somebody will pay for that. Like, you know, I watch Cool Kicks or whatever the people, all the celebrities go on. Go sneaker shopping, and I saw this guy. He collects stuff. He'll have like, you know, he has rare Jordans and certain stuff. Michael Jordan's worn shoes from Space Jam. He has these Nikes that were never worn, or they were printed wrong. Like they have a backwards Nike swoosh. It's 200,000. Nobody ever even worn them. You know, who's paying for that? Someone will pay for that. Someone will pay for that, without a doubt. But honestly speaking, it's not necessarily a market of what I won't pay. Someone will pay for that. It's just a matter. Like me, my thing is $200,000. What would I do with $200,000? Would I buy a watch? The answer to that question is probably no. I probably spend it on at least investment. Put that in a saving, but I would spend something like, you know, $10,000. Let's say it was like a Rolex or something like that, or let's say a Batman. my god. I had that guy. That guy was terrible. Then the guy folded. That didn't necessarily make me mad. I did what I did, but I folded. I thought I could win, but we're getting close. I'm getting close. I might play a few more games, but I'm probably gonna call it a night here soon. Like, I know, like, for instance, a lot of people say that, like, jewelry stores is overpriced. Sometimes it is. I can help people save money in a sense. Like, people say Johnny Dang is scamming and ripping people off. Do I think Johnny Dang is scamming and ripping people off? I feel like it's not a matter of if I think he's ripping people off. I'm not coming for his brand or anything like that. I just think that, in all honesty, him ripping people off is just synonymous with the game. I got knowledge of this stuff and how they price stuff because I'm in the industry myself. I know how much these guys pay for, you know, these diamonds and whatnot, and I've looked at diamonds. I went to school for that, so I'm still kind of doing it. But like for diamonds, there's really no difference between, I want to say, SI and VS. If someone's telling you, oh, they got VS diamonds, it might be VS diamonds. It might be VS. It depends on who's grading it. Like if someone looks at a parcel from GIA, that's just where I go to. I just finished up a program there, the diamonds thing, diamond grading. It was cool. I'm pretty good at calling, you know, what the diamond is, if it's SI1 or VS. Most retail places are going to have between SI and I and VS. VS is possibly the best, in my opinion. VVS, no one knows if it's VVS. You have to look under a microscope. Like, you have to look at it under a $10,000 microscope and look at the diamonds and compare it. And look at a parcel. So, to me, the average thing is, with me, how I look at it, I want to look at diamonds. One, clearly, you got to look at it under a loop, this, that, and the third. But price-wise, there's something that you can do. Like, if it's less than a carat, you multiply the price times whatever the carat is, and you get the price per carat. Let's say something is like $3,500. And you go times 0.76, like 76 pointer. You don't find the price per carat. And then the guys might add on like $30 onto it or something like that. And then in terms like when people were saying, oh, this Miami Cuban has 75 carats of diamonds total, they're using like melee size diamonds. They're using like, you know, a 20 pointer or 15 or maybe even 8 pointer. This stuff is around like, you know, honestly speaking, it can't be no more than like $50 to $60 max because it's small. And guys have to go and buy like a whole lot of these diamonds. I don't think it's that hard to find. And then people have to get the correct measurements and then the color, cut, and clarity. Everybody's diamonds and stuff is not dancing. That's one. I think Johnny Dang stuff is dancing. To me, it just depends. It just depends on personal preference, in my opinion. Like someone said they're gonna have D flawless, not flawless, but like D VVS. We don't know if it's gonna be D VVS. Like, in order for someone to look at a diamond and say it's a D, I've done it. This, that, and the third. I just graded some diamonds like a month ago. Literally like a month ago. A person cannot 100% tell if a diamond is D or E. You gotta look at it at a Masterstone set. So, you have this god for a diamond, and you have to basically place it against Masters and compare it to the set. Like, if you look at a diamond and you kind of see it has a tint to it, you have to put it in a light, and then you have to go like fluorescent light, or you can just shine a light on it or whatnot at a certain angle. You hold it a certain way with a tweezer, and you got to decide whether or not it's D, E, and F. And you look at a reference of actual, how can I put it, natural stone that you basically have, and you go from there. Honestly speaking, I think a lot of these people are using, they might have some D's for that E and F that cut corners to a certain extent, and it's fine as long as someone doesn't have M diamond in the section of the stuff that's just not gonna shine the correct way. It's really not. And another thing I don't like about the jewelry business to a certain extent is people buying bedazzled stuff, like a bust down watch. It's not for everybody. And then two, you ruin the watch. The water seal, you're not going to get maximum value for it. That's for sure. Like if someone got a Rolex Sky Dweller and it was like, let's say it was a white gold or something like that, and then it flooded with diamonds. Let's say the base price was $35,000 for a particular model. You're not going to be able to get that service by Rolex. And then honestly too, the same thing, the principle applies to Icebox. I have nothing against Icebox, but Icebox, I'm looking at the price and I know they're ripping people off. Everybody's going to Icebox. There's nothing against their attack on their personal brand. It's just the fact that people do what they want to do with their money. If they like a Cartier Santos, that watch is not even worth I'd say sweat off your legs, honestly, because it doesn't retain value. People say this is a great watch. You can't charge somebody, I say the watch is worth $8,000, but if you go on watch charts right now, it's worth $4,500 max. That's not a good investment. Like, don't go and buy anything if you can't get 75% of your money. And then also too, never buy a Cartier watch brand new, like off the website. Just get it pre-owned. I would tell somebody that. Just get it pre-owned and don't buy it with diamonds. Never buy it with diamonds on it, because people are going to artificially inflate the price. Like I watch these people on Instagram. They're selling their products right now for $18,000, and I know they did not do $18,000 worth of work. So they basically made, I want to say altogether, they made $11,000 off people. Because they're not using top quality stones. I mean, they might to a certain extent, but for what they did, it's not $18,000 worth of work. I understand that would be profitable, but nah. The only thing I could possibly see that's worth, I want to say they should sell it for $11,000. They should sell it for $11,000. $18,000 is predatory and scamming, so that's not right. And if someone wants to bust down on a watch, I'll tell people what to do. Like, if you want a good baseline or something like that, just get a watch with the, like someone wants a Rolex, get like a 1995 Rolex Datejust or something like that. When you buy a watch, you should get box and papers or whatnot, but when you have an aftermarket, if it's not factory, you're not going to get your money back. You're not going to get your money back. And then two, Rolex, they do stone set. I think Rolex does the best job in terms of stone set stuff, like the Rolex GMT Master. I think they have a, like Saru. I don't exactly know the reference number for that, but it's a special order GMT. It has rubies and sapphires on it, and it's expensive. It's like at least $70,000. Let me check. I keep up with the models. Let's see, Rolex, Saru, white gold. Nah, I was being conservative with it. It is around, yeah. I see one around 81,000. It can go for 81, but others, there's no way. And there's levels to it. You have the full pave, and then you have the other one. The other one is 181,000. I think retail is around, like, I say around, I would say about maybe 70,000. This depends. Jazz Time 116759. Rolex GMT Master $99,000 or $100,000. Rolex Saru, let's see retail. How much is it worth? Oh, it's $85,000.
Don't have a good day.
It's $85,000. They have not made it anymore. It's not in actual catalog, so it's the latest one is $162,000. So that's a pretty good investment, but it's not an investment vehicle because the average person ain't gonna spend that type of bread, and then a lot of people are not gonna be allocated. Like a person can afford a Rolex to a certain extent, as long as they have a decent job. Like someone has a $65,000 a year job, they'll probably get like a Datejust or whatnot, or a tutor or something like that. Something like a Patek, you got to be a big boy to get a Patek. Pateks are expensive. I don't even think that Patek, in a sense, they're not necessarily good investments either. No, nothing is a good investment per se, because these watches, they'll go up and they'll go down. And a lot of these jewelers and certain stuff, they might do a buyback. Like, the people that I follow, I think they're pretty good. They got a good business model. They have a relationship with people, and they do the buyback program. Like someone got a Bubba Watson. Bubba Watson is a golfer with Richard Mille. They have so many Bubba Watsons. They have the Asia, they have the Americas, they have a gray one, they have a Japan edition, they have everything. But at the same time, a token, on average, is it worth the money? I would say retail is $120,000. Then they have a Merino one that's like $670,000. They only release the watches in a handful of places. Like they have flagship stores. Then they have other ways. Like there's this person I watch on. I'll follow them on Instagram. Their name is Luxury Souk. They're based out in Dubai. They're based out in Dubai, and they have okay deals to a certain extent. I don't think it's the best, but I think for what it's worth, they're able to get people, and they do business with people from all over the world. know possibly after the next game, I'm probably getting off. I need to go to sleep. This is crap. I like laying with someone. I'll probably play 2 more for you guys, but when the moment hits 12, I'm getting off. That's for sure. The moment hits 12, I'm getting off. But in terms of like jobs, even still, we go back to the job portion. Like, you know, honestly speaking, I realize Dubai has a lot of stuff going on. It's the most expensive place in the world. All the luxury brands is there. A lot of people love going to Dubai. There's a lot of money flowing into Dubai. That's cool. They have all the designer brands. That third. That's cool. Luxury suit. They have Birkin bags. They say Birkin bag is an investment. I don't think that a Birkin bag, anything is not an investment. Anything is just an expensive toy and it's just an accessorized and glamorized. Nothing against the actual stuff. I think watches and stuff cool, but a pocketbook, some leather, and then a brand, and then stitched on there. It's probably craftsmanship, but nothing about a bag is worth $70,000. A watch, you know, you can wear it on your wrist. I'm not saying either one of those things are really worth it, but in terms of a bag and a watch, I don't think you can necessarily wear those things and use that on a day-to-day basis. Like, you have a Birkin bag, you're gonna have to be on a certain side of town. If you have, you know, I say, long as you wear something under a cuff, you fine. But even still, then, nah. As long as you wear something under a cuff, I think you should be fine. But yeah, anything outside the realm of possibilities in terms of these companies, I think it could be done. If you have a flagship store, like I searched this thing up of this particular company, I realized the watch brands where, you know, I'm from, will have like Rolex, we don't have Rolex. We only have Tag. We have Seiko. I'm not expecting. Well, we do have Patek Philippe, but that's like 40 minutes away from where I live at, and I didn't even know I had to do some research. They have crappy models, the stuff people don't want. I saw this one thing too. What was it? What was I about to say? Oh yeah, they had this particular watch for sale. It was expensive, and it was like a gem set, rainbow, aquanaut. That thing's expensive. It's at least, I say, around. I'm probably gonna say around $110,000. Then I looked at the basically the authorized retailer, the boutique. They don't have it listed on there. I'm pretty sure they had it at one point, but the average person, an NBA player, could afford that. But again, I'm not sure this place is equipped for people to go and spend that kind of money. So they have like base models like a Calatrava, something that's around like $20,000. And me, I like the Aquanaut. I like the one with the green strap. The Aquanaut. I might watch this video, watch the market, watch someone who's in the business talk about it. But yeah, it's possibly it. A lot of businesses too, especially the watch business and then the jewelry business, about percentages. People in the watch market say they try to make 10% on a deal. I don't think these guys make 10%. I think they make more than 10%. I think these guys make a lot more than 10%. I got a new list. Like, let's say the new Le Mans Rolex. That's like $50,000. They just released basically the replacement for the 116-500 LN, the Panda. And they had an open case back. That's around like what? I think like $40,000 a replacement, and then the other one has gone down. So it's like $33,000 the 116-500, down to around like 23, low 23, and then the new Le Mans Rolex is around $100,000. People can go and buy it today. It's like original list is what? $51,000, and as of today, it's like $98,900. And so I'm probably like, why is the Le Mans Rolex, $100,000? I know why it's $100,000. It's because it has the Paul Newman face, the dial, and they did the bezel is 100% different. It's like neo vintage. It's gonna be collectible because people love the Newman, the 6263. That's what they basically did. They did a remake of it. There's also pre Paul Newmans. Like they have the 6239 Rolex, 6241, The 6263, the 6264 John Player Special, gold. It costs around 985,000. You don't see that many of those. And we got a 6265 that came out like 86, and that's around like $250,000. Wow, this guy is terrible. I'll play 2 more. I'll get my points across. That guy was terrible. He killed me. Gotta love this guy. I know someone probably like, what's some other brands that are, watches that are decent. Everybody should at least have a beater watch or something like that. So that's not gonna break the bank. There's some, I guess, decent. I watched this guy Teddy Baldassar. I think, some of the watches he basically picks out are terrible picks. He always talks about the dial. I think I like some of his content, but some of the stuff I would never spend $8,000 on it. Why would I get a bootleg brand or something like that looks terrible when I can just go out here and get a tutor? Makes no sense. Why would I spend $4,000 on something I get a used tutor for like $3,500? That makes no sense. Nothing against the man's brand, but it's one of those things you have to think about it. Let me check his watches now. Tissot, Longines, 3150. Oris Roberto Clemente. Oris makes okay watches. Baume Mercier, 3750. They're smoking something. Hamilton, $895. Nah, I'm gonna use $895 to get something else. Seiko. Some of these watches is terrible. My favorite watch brand is Vacheron. That's 100%. Like dress watch is 40. The one that I want the most is the 222. That watch is so clean. It's great. Good with the little khaki colored suit and khaki pants. My God. It's underrated. Nobody knows about Vacheron like that. It's been around since the 1755, so it's one of the oldest watch brands. After this, I'm probably gonna be gone though. No cap. The boy is a little bit tired. The boy is tired. There's one watch I would want today. I'll possibly say it's going to be a cheap one. Definitely a cheap one. It wouldn't even be a Rolex. I think it'll be a Frank Mueller. Nice little to no shape watch, and it's nice blue dial. No one has it. It's clean. I like it. I have my eyes on it. Come with boxing papers, and it's a limited edition. If I got some money, that'd be the first thing I would buy. Come on. Damn. Then I'm still thinking about someone saying that Richard Mill, some of his watches is ugly. I would have to agree that some of his watches is ugly. And then he has some watches that are not, you know, popular, like the like the RM28 is not necessarily the most attractive watch. The RM16 is not an attractive watch. The RM30 the RM30 and RM29 is it's not the same watch. It looks the same. Someone had to ask me what's the difference between the RM29 and RM30. One, I feel like the thing has basically, it's measuring force. And the prominent thing about the RM29, it has an oversized date. The RM30 isn't like that. RM30 and 11 are pretty much the same again. The RM29 and 30 are basically the same. And then 11 is different because it has a chronograph on it, which means you can measure time, this, that, and the third. And someone probably say Richard Mill is not necessarily that impressive. To me, I'll give it, you know, a decent thing. It's young, it's hip. They don't care. They don't take themselves too serious. Is the price worth it? The answer to that question is, really, it's up to the person to decide whether or not they want to spend, you know, $300,000. The watch itself isn't even $300,000 for the most part, depending on what it is. Like the RM, let's say, the RM11 is like $180,000 out the boutique. It's $180,000. You can get it in titanium. You get it in rose gold or rose gold and titanium. rose gold titanium. Then you have special edition, like you have the what's it called? The I know the name of it. It'll come to me in a second. The Roberto Mancini, Richard Mille. That is around like 235 max, and sometimes you can find them around like 210. It just depends on how complete the stuff is, the condition. But honestly, you spending that amount of money on that, I would want to watch service in a new case. Make sure everything is actually running. I wouldn't want to watch that hasn't been serviced. You want to make sure it runs right, it's been tested, or you bring it to the boutique or whatnot and they can get it serviced. They can service it right there and make sure at least the base functions is there. There's like no point. People say that, getting a watch service isn't important. I feel like a watch should be serviced every, I'd say, 3 years. You should have a base level of testing, someone with the skill set who actually deals with certain stuff. Look at it, let them test it. But if you really want a real service, you wouldn't let someone who's a basic level, car mechanic go and look at a Ferrari. So I guess the same logic applies. You let somebody look at it who at least knows it was seeing a product or something like that, and then go from there. Make sure, certain stuff is working. At least they've been around it, and you go from there. Because you don't want to have a watch completely messed up. Like the RM11 has, RM1105. These keep on coming out with the stuff. RM1101 has it's just plain. RM1102 has a GMT and then an annual calendar on it. RM1103 has just a bigger case size. RM1104 is a little bit bulkier. RM1105 is blue. Then you got special edition RM11s. Like, someone had to ask what my favorite RM right now. I say 6701 and then 6702. And I like the Bubba Watson, but it's not necessarily 100% my thing. And then also, too, I like the 7201, what is it, the Lifestyle Chronograph. That's just too expensive. I think the retail is $285,000. It went all the way up to $685,000. And it's made of white ceramic, but the movement is different. I think the caliber is some type of it starts with something. It starts with a CR or something. But it has the clutchable rotor, and it's basically protecting. You're supposed to wind the watch up and then also supposed to be on your wrist. And basically how active you are with it. It's supposed to be like one of the more active wear, in a sense, watches. Because, with an RM, you can go, you can do anything with it. I wouldn't go swimming in it. Unless it was a diving watch, but even still then, I don't go into pools or anything like that. You spend, $500,000 on a watch, are you really going to go and dive in it? And I wouldn't. Some watches are utility watches, like a Submariner is it's an actual watch that people use. So I think Navy SEALs, they use, they have to have some form of watch on the time stuff. So, Panerai for sure, they have a Navy SEALs watch, and I think Navy SEALs do use it. And then I think they have there's all these other bootleg brands, micro watch brands that saying that Navy SEALs use this stuff. And they go from there. But for the most part, I think, you know, it is what it is. People have to want to spend money. And again, everybody's a customer. I know me personally, I wouldn't buy necessarily a crappy watch in a sense. I don't think Rolex is a crappy watch. I just don't really care for the watch brand like that. I mean, I do like the Datejust. It's a classic. I probably will have one, but past that, I don't like the I can name the thing that I don't like. I don't like the new 1908 watch. It's like $22,500. I don't like let's see. They had like the Yachtmaster. I do like the Yachtmaster, the rainbow. Looks like the Fruity Pebbles. I like that. That's, you know, that's least classic. The Daytona, I kind of like Daytona a little bit, but it's not my favorite. What else I don't like? Let's see. The Moon, like what you call it, they had that Cellini. That was a flop brand, and then two, no one really wants it. It's called collectible, but it's not really worth it. And Rolex, where I'm from, they didn't have that on the catalog, so it must not have been a popular seller. Two, I think the Day-Date is alright. It's classic. I ain't gonna disrespect the Day-Date. But I think I like perpetual calendars. Rolex, I mean, that is kind of their form of a perpetual calendar, but it's really not a perpetual calendar if you think about it. A perpetual calendar is going to show you the actual thing set. It's going to show you the moon, the phases of the moon. Now the moon phase, it's going to, you don't have to set it. It's good to the year 2100. So as long as you have it in a watch winder, it's going to keep time and it's going to have the day. And a special thing if it has what you call a GMT on it. So you can set multiple time zones. I know a watch I would want on the top of my head. It's just classic that I like. I like the Patek Philippe World Timer. That'll go on my watch list to have a world timer. I like the way they painted the stuff, the world map on there. Not the one with the minute repeater on that. That's just too much money. You're not gonna be able to get that. $2.2 million for that. Way too much money. Way too much money. I know also people be like, you know, the RM 5602, the Sapphire. The watch is a Tourbillon made of sapphire. It's like, depending on the color of it, it's like $3 million. I think it's cool, but that watch in itself is not worth no $3 million. It's not. I know it's a lot of research and design. A Tourbillon is not worth no $100,000. It's not. I think it's cool. I would love to have a Tourbillon for sure. I mean, I have like a $40 Tourbillon. I don't even wear it. I got off Amazon. I just want to see how cool it look. I have yet to see a Tourbillon watch outside of what you call it. Just outside of YouTube. If I go to like New York City or something like that, I'm going to make sure I go to 47th Street and see at least Richard Mille. I might try to get a vlog or something like that. I'll probably visit a few stores. That's really what I want to do. I want to visit a few stores. Like, someone had to ask me about AP. AP and Rolex, in my opinion, are one and the same. They make the same watches all over again. There's nothing bad. I think AP is a good watch brand. Everybody does the same thing. You can't hype up, you know, just a simple watch like a date-only watch. Hey, someone had to ask me what my favorite RM is. I would say 6702, the one that's Wade Van Niekerk. He's a South African sprinter, and the RM is South African flag. So I think that's pretty cool. I think about you know, Johan Blake. He has a good he has a long history with RM, but I think his RM is ugly. Like the one that Sylvester Stallone has, it's not practical. At this, I'm going to sleep. I'm gonna watch the video and I'm going to sleep. got so close. Peace out.